Well, hello, you.
Who's that?
We have a visitor.
Yeah,
Bean.
we got Bean.
Bean.
Hey, Bean.
Safety Officer Bean. Being
We got a kitty cat around.
He's
a
coming to see
friendly
me.
little guy.
Yeah, he is.
He can play pretty rough, though. Like, check out some of this right there.
Yeah, I'm not going to push my luck.
Hey, Bean.
I moved and he ran off.
Yeah, he can be skittish.
Because I was reaching down to get a camera to take some photos of that. Because you guys can't see it, and his videos don't do justice when you're looking in here.
But we'll get this camera closer to this, and I'll even light it up, too. And
Or I brought my still camera with me, and I could just pull that out and take some photos.
okay.
If Tom doesn't mind.
Not at all. Definitely not.
Because, well, that's why I brought the still camera. Not take photos of that specifically. We are going to play tourist this week and visit lots of theme parks. Because Los Angeles has more theme parks, probably, per capita, than any other city in the nation.
Probably.
Probably. We got, what, Knoxbury Farm, Disneyland,
Yep. Knoxbury, Disneyland.
Universal, Magic Mountain.
Yep.
I know I'm missing a few.
There should be one or two more, actually, yeah.
Right.
I'm not thinking the names offhand, though.
So,
But there's 4 or 5 right there, all within 20 miles travel.
Right.
Easy.
And I did not bring the flash with me.
Oh, you want me to light it up here, or get some photos that way?
Oh, well, it's got its own flash, but I'm pretty close.
Or light it up in terms of actual blinky?
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Okay.
Everyone, the photos I'm taking are going to go at the end of this video clip. Or if this is like 4 videos, it'll be in there somewhere.
Not much to see on that one. How about this side?
Yeah, that's how it looks good. And of course, I'm taking them with the camera, with the flash, so I did not bring the macro lens with me, which would have gone right up on that screen like you would not believe.
Yep.
I'll post the pictures I take. Don't worry, everyone. This thing's got a big enough memory card that I'll be able to do it. Oh. Yeah, we need a picture of that. That mess. That wiring mess in there. Electrical engineers have been at work.
That lovely piece of work. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Electrical engineers have been at work.
I think I could actually undo this relatively quickly. It's been sitting like this for several months now, so I'm actually glad to be making this step forward on doing it.
I got you. Part of your motivation on the spray booth is to have someone to paint this thing, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the spray booth over here, not quite in shot, is based off of Bad Grendel's design, where he had the fan underneath, and I loved that idea so much I had to do it for myself. And then I've made some further modifications as well, as realities have set in for my particular version of it.
Right. Are you photogenic? Can I take a photo of you?
Yeah, he can be here and there.
Okay, that's not you. That's not worthy of sharing with anyone because I'm just freehanding. I'm not trying to be.
Bean.
I'm not trying to be intrusive in his life.
Bean.
With a camera. He's coming out. There he goes.
Hey, come here.
Oh. That way everyone can see Bean.
There we go.
Let me back that up. Of course, the cat, being what he is not going to pose. One of those will work.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them works. Everyone, you want your signed autograph photo of Tom? Email him.
With Bean?
With Bean.
Here's his big trick.
Oh!
There you go.
You like being up there, Bean?
There you go, Bean. Usually.
My cats like being up like that. Both Tomo and Thunderpaws.
There you go. You gonna have a nap? Yeah, he likes to sleep up there.
That's one thing. The model room must be cat-proofed in my house. Even though I've got a door on the, I still cat-proof it.
That's why I've got this here, is just to keep them from, well, limit them at least to getting close to all the dust and bullshit. Because I definitely don't want them eating anything wrong.
Right. Mine's more Thunderpaws thinks everything is a toy in life. So if it's not bolted down, it goes somewhere where it's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
He'll pick it up and carry it.
Forget the carpet monster. You've got a cat monster.
Exactly. Who destroyed my Godzilla diorama.
Oh.
I don't know if you knew
with the little
that.
houses you had on there?
The castle?
Yeah,
with
yeah.
King Ghidorah? Yeah.
Oh.
He played Godzilla on it. He stomped it to death.
Kitty wins.
Yes. Godzilla survived without a scratch. Mothra survived without a scratch. King Ghidorah lost one of his heads. That's it.
That's not so bad.
Well, they fell 4.5 feet to the floor.
Huh.
The castle lost a roof, but the rest of the diorama was just unsalvageable. It was built. It had a wood base with foam board glued underneath, and then I put plaster over the top of the foam board, and the plaster just cracked and shattered.
You had painted that green, was it? Or
part of it was green, part of it was rocks. I'd made some plaster rocks from train molds and put them in the back. And yeah, everything just shattered. And I'd made some mistakes on the base I wasn't happy with. So it's time to just redo it.
Yeah, it's understandable.
That's one of the Shelf Queen projects I have, is fixing the old Godzilla diorama. The other problem with that is finding a place to display the Godzilla diorama.
Yep. And how do you guys display your stuff, too? That's a good question. Obviously, you're pretty limited as far as, like, big models go.
Yeah, because they have to match the decor of the house.
Yeah. Like with me, with the Jupiter here, even though it's only 18 inches around, I really don't know where I'm going to display it when it's done, so I figure I may as well just sell it and get rid of it and not worry about it. There we go.
Yeah, that's another question. How do you justify selling something you've got 100 hours of your life into?
I don't mind that.
Okay.
I think that comes from my fine art days. Initially, they were like, how could you part with that painting that you worked on for so long? And
if you want to earn a living, you got to.
Once you get the money for it, you're like, all right, it's not one of your kids. It's a painting or a model. Or
look at that area right there.
Yeah, nice, huh?
Oh, that's going to take fine. Yeah, I'm going to share. Don't worry. Slideshow at the end. Wow, there's got to be, what, 20 LEDs in that area right there?
Yeah, probably. There's
all going to different colors?
6, 8, 10, 12, 15-ish right there. Another 3, another 5, 7.
Over 20.
5 there, 5 here.
Sorry, jet lag.
Another 4 there. Plus those guys, obviously.
For the freezer walls.
And then there's some individual LEDs up here, I think.
Oh, there's a whole bunch of LEDs right there.
Oh, yeah. And 50-something LEDs right there
alone.
Then we got 3 sequencers here, 1 sequencer there.
You got some on the... There's something over here.
Oh, yeah, that's the 5th sequencer. So there's 5 sequencers driving all the blinking on this, which could probably be done with one Arduino, but I have sequencers, so it's sequencers. That's the way
I've looked at Arduinos, and I still can't get myself to buy one because they're $50, $60.
Oh, that much? Wow.
Well, for a starter kit.
Oh, I see.
Whereas a microcontroller, I've found pick chips for microcontrollers for $1 each. So to me, that's a more cost-effective route. But there's a steeper learning curve on the pick chips than there's Arduinos. Because Arduinos, they sell you the board. All you're doing is programming the chip.
Right.
And putting pins on the board. You route the power to it, you put the pins on the board, you add a switch, you're done. That's an Arduino. A PIC controller, you have to assign everything. You got to learn how to program it and how to get power to it. So it's a different beast, but it's way cheaper. For model lighting, yeah, you can get a PIC controller for $1 versus
That's the way to go.
$50. I've done some basic looking, I just have not had the time to get into it. That would be the next step.
I suppose it would also come down to particular functionality that you're looking for, too.
True.
Like, whereas I've got 5 sequencers here, in this particular case, a single Arduino board hooked up right would do it all, and it would save that much space, that much of the soldering, and, well, maybe not on the soldering.
No, probably not, because you still got to solder all the LEDs in.
Yeah.
That is true there.
Let's see.
And Arduinos are being used for lots of stuff. People make video games with them.
Yep.
So they're more designed for hardcore programming, whereas the PIC chip I'm talking about is designed for exactly what I would want to use it for.
Yeah.
Because it's an 8-bit processor, and it's very, very limited in what it can do, but it can do what we'd like.
Sorry for the distraction there.
No worries.
I thought I had some alligator clips. I could power this up real quick, and you could see what it looks like lit up from the underside.
Well, we could if we move it over there.
Yeah.
To the electronics bench instead of the workbench.
Yeah. But keeping track of all those, yellow, orange, black. That was
like I said, the end result is very, very nice.
The almost end result.
Right.
The nearing the end result.
That's what you're looking for, is the end result.
Yeah, definitely. I think the lighting is just about all done. Like I had mentioned before, it's plugging in these last few fibers and figuring out where they go, and then I can move on, hopefully.
Start actually getting it done.
Yeah, it's the back room here that's really been holding me up most recently. These are some prototypes. So essentially what's going on is that'll go something like that.
Gotcha.
And I had already made this guy. I've had this for years now, right?
Right.
But every time it hasn't fit the hole exactly, I've gone back to this, chopped it down, and that's changed the distance between this and the inside of
the window. And it doesn't look good anymore.
Yeah, so every time I modify that, this changes. So I came up with the idea of a slab of Avis, put that on the inside here. Now I just have to match that up with this and get all that lined up, which is the next big phase, which is really the thing that's holding me back.
I was wondering why that looks different. That's not plastic.
No, that's a rolled out piece of Avis. Or Aves. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Everyone calls it Aves. Epoxy sculpt.
Epoxy sculpt, there we go. So yeah, but then getting this to line up exactly
heavy,
there. Yeah, it's a good weight to it. I got to come up with a thinner. Like this one weighs a little less, maybe.
Well, I can tell you something. This stuff's durable.
Yep.
I had some extra, made a rock out of it, stuck it outside. A year later, it was still the same. I just wanted to see what happened. See how it weathered the environment. Well, it took the environment and just laughed at it.
There you go.
I suspect that thing's going to be there. If I'd left it in the yard, I didn't. I took it with us when we moved. I suspect it would have been there 20 years from now. I think that stuff's pretty inert.
Definitely.
Well, nothing's going to eat it. It's plastic.
Yeah, so this is my next hope for finishing this thing off. Because this was
What about putting an extension tube on there?
That was what I had been doing. So I would cut a circle and wrap that around there to fit between this shape of the circle and that shape of the circle. Right. But then as I started bringing this in to make it fit that better, it still was looking funny. It looked funny, but then the distance would change, so I'd have to cut a new circle.
Okay.
And every time I had to cut a new circle, make a new change, and
it was getting very frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that quite well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, no one else has taken it quite as far as I have. There's been some really good builds of this thing, but I don't think people have quite gone as overboard as I have yet.
The only other thing I've seen that you have not done is motorized displays on the radar, where the radar actually spins.
Next time, definitely. And I say next time, I mean next time, because I do want to build another one of these. I've learned so much on doing this one that to do another one should be that much faster and that much better.
That's one of the things about hard challenges that always improve you.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember making a rant video about that, saying don't shy away from a challenge, because you're always going to learn something, even if it's a failure.
Yep, totally.
Like the TIE Fighter I built. It is a beautiful thing, but I used the wrong power jack, so it sits like this instead of like this. So I learned not to use that power jack. And I didn't quite light block the thing properly. I learned that one too.
And when I took this on, none of what I've done on this I knew how to do. So I really banked my head through the entire thing, whether it was finished painting or I'd built models and I'd throw them together, slap them together.
Right.
Not worried about the results. But you want to do something nice, then you really got to step it up. And that was a level I had not taken my own skills to until this came along. And even then, there's still a few things here that show my general sloppiness, but the overall growth that I've experienced through doing this has been a lot greater than, well, had I not, or had I chosen another subject and done it differently.
That's what I'm talking about with challenges.
Yeah.
Don't shy away from them.
No.
Way too many people do that these days. Oh, it's easier for me. I've heard that discussion. Why build a model of that? You can just go down and buy one. I can buy a TIE fighter, yeah. Is it this tall, this wide? No. I can go buy a Hasbro one toy that's a lot bigger, but does it look right? No.
It's a toy.
Exactly. So that's in part why I build them. Another reason I build them, and Tom and I talked about this briefly, is as a kid I watched a movie and went, wow, I love that. I want to build it. Now what got me started in building models is Godzilla movies. I didn't tell you that one.
No.
Godzilla movies. As a kid, I loved watching that guy in that rubber suit just stomping the crud out of those buildings. And then I started thinking about who made those buildings. Some model guy had to have built everything that this guy in the rubber suit stomping to death.
I never thought of that until just now, really.
Really?
Those teams of people.
Teams of people in the background building all those models. And the little, like, maser cannons, they were radio controlled. Because all the cars in there moved.
Yeah,
they were models. And if you look, there's no wires on those cars. They're radio controlled. I was watching Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the old one, not the new ones, and saw there were no wires connecting them. They were definitely radio controlled.
Nice.
And the old maser cannons have pulsing lights down the barrels.
See, that'd be a nice little model if someone made one of those.
I have one.
Oh,
I have a Type 66 maser cannon from Japan. It's 148 scale.
Wow. Now you just need a Godzilla to go with it.
148 scale Godzilla I do not even want to think about. I've seen a picture of a 1/100 Godzilla and a girl standing next to it, and it's like 4.5 foot tall.
Wow.
Huge thing, 7 foot tail.
Wow.
Or is that 1/200? It was 1/100 scale, yeah. Just huge. Someone's going to correct me and say it was 1/200 scale.
There's always someone to correct someone.
Oh, yeah. It'll be in the comments. Not a big deal. But yeah, there's no way. And I did come across one guy who built a whole bunch of those maser cannons and built a diorama of Godzilla in scale walking down the street. And it had to have taken up like a corner of a room this big.
I believe it.
Had to have. But that's what got me into building models. I wanted to be the guy who built the building that Godzilla kicked his way through.
Nice. That's a good story.
And I'm looking at them. They were made out of plaster. They had to have been those buildings.
Yeah,
because when he kicks them apart, they come apart like they're concrete.
Yeah. So not only did they have to build a model of it, but they had to build a model of how they would break apart, or like how, structural engineering.
And they had to do some mold work on it, because I just realized that recently. Watching one of the 1970 Godzilla movies. There's no way it would come apart properly otherwise.
Right. Unless it was pre-cut, essentially, or...
Right. Just certain sections crumbled apart.
Right.
But that's what got me into model building. Tom shared his story.
Yeah, mine was walking out of Star Wars at the age of 8. And, I didn't really know what I had seen on screen, apart from really awesome stuff, but... that's what got me into wanting to work in the movies and visual effects overall, and that certainly kick-started a lot of my miniature toy building and sticking firecrackers into the AT-AT, and
I think we all did that at one time.
Flying the X-Wing around the backyard with a smoke bomb pouring out of the cockpit.
I didn't do that. I taped, not duct tape, masking taped model rocket engines to airplane models.
Nice.
They didn't fly. They spun.
I had the brilliant idea of taking a Model X-Wing from way back then and putting bottle rockets on the wings. And I thought I could launch that off, but basically it went
yeah.
About a foot forward, spun around a little, and exploded.
They're not aerodynamic.
Never mind the weight factors and all that for your particular rocket and all that kind of thing.
Right. Which I learned later, because I got into model rocketry later. Even got to the point where I was almost starting to do the big engines, the FG and H engines. And was talking to someone about pursuing a license, because you have to be licensed for anything over F.
Right.
I mean, over G. The HIJK you have to be licensed for. And then 9/11 happened. And it just shut down the whole model rocket industry for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Because they were like, you could shoot down a plane with that. No, you really could not. They're made out of cardboard.
Right.
You fire something made out of cardboard at a jetliner, you're going to scratch the paint.
At most, if you can get it up.
The only way you might be able to bring it down is if the rocket was like 10 feet long, weighed about 8 pounds, and got sucked in the engine intake. And even then, they're bird-proof these days. So it just come out, just out the back.
Yep.
So you're not bringing a plane down with that stuff, but people got paranoid at that time, and they kind of shut it down. I don't know if it ever recovered.
Well, the RC planes kind of took a hit, too, after that, I think.
Yeah.
The airfields and being close to...
They can't fly near airfields anymore. That's true. But they didn't take a big hit.
Yeah.
Because
like
they got
rockets.
limited range on those AC planes.
Yeah.
Usually their line of sight, I don't think you can go more than a quarter mile with them. If you're doing a radio and they're not autonomous.
Right.
That's another story. We're not into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Those are called drones. That's one of the things that irritates me a little bit. I watch the news and I'm like, there's a drone flying overhead. No, it's a guy with a quadcopter and a radio controller.
Yeah.
Drones are autonomous. Guy with a quadcopter, he's not autonomous, and he's probably not really doing anything other than having fun.
At best, a hobbyist.
Exactly.
If not just some guy with 20 extra bucks that he threw at a thing.
20, more like 100.
Oh.
If you get serious in the quadcopters, those things are thousands of dollars. But they're still quadcopters, they're not drones.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazon wants drones to deliver packages. But we're digressing. You notice the conversation's going, yee. We're getting off subject.